Going on, great people? What's up, cuz?
What's going on, sir? How are you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. How was your weekend, your Mother's Day and
Man, it
everything?
was it was good, man. I got to spend time with the wife and pour into her and let her know how special she is to
Ain't
me
no
and the boy.
question, man.
How
Ain't no
about you?
question. They need that. Same here, brother. Same
Yes,
here.
sir.
Listen, man. I was talking. I did a quick live earlier. I was letting the folks know I wanted to touch on Kevin Samuels, man. I know you didn't oppose against it, so hey, that's what we on today. We talking Kevin Samuels. Was he good for the culture? I know. A lot of people may say no. I say yay. So, what you think, Cuz?
We about to see in a minute, baby.
Ain't no
Cal and
question.
Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.
Yes, sir.
All right, baby.
yeah, yeah, man. This is interesting when we had these kind of topics that kind of get people's attention because there's figures in the industry that we all can relate to and see how we can willingly respond correctly based upon someone else's actions, thoughts, or strategies. And so I'm excited about this, man. So kind of to give us the lead, man, and I'm gonna jump in.
Okay, Kevin Samuels, man. It was a shocker, when everybody was in disbelief. I was kind of shocked. He seemed like he owned all the time. I don't catch him often, but I have caught a lot of his stuff. Some stuff just come across my news, my timeline, and sometimes I just go back and check on him to see what he's been talking about lately every blue moon. I wasn't like an everyday follower,
Right.
but
Right.
I did get tuned in with him enough to know like some of the stuff that he was talking about was real. If you acceptive to like being like versatile to like understanding things and not being one-sided or tunnel vision. So I just want to know, and a lot of stuff I've seen a lot of stuff since he passed,
Mm-hmm.
basically where he to me he wasn't one-sided. He getting the man's ass and the woman's ass,
Mm.
you know. And I don't see too many people really giving those hard truths to let people know when you call in and ask me a question and really ask me what it is you feel like I need to do in this area or how I'm missing it or where I'm missing it at. I don't see too many people giving you the hard truth that you need to hear other than comedians. That's why I think comedians are so relevant because they say things that people need to hear or think that people scared to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to catch everybody up, we're talking about Kevin Samuels today and trying to get into some of his tactics. He was considered as the modern day relationship coach or guru, and he found his fame on YouTube by a couple of viral videos that went out when he basically is very direct, giving what he calls the hard truth
Right.
to basically his women audience that calls in and tries to identify uh, what type of relationship they advice that he can give them about what their goals are, trying to get the next level or the high value guys. And so his thing was being very straight to the point and direct, and some of his responses were kind of like shock provoking, which is kind of what we're talking about today. What do we think about this? Was he
Right.
good for the culture? Was he not so good for the culture? But at the end of the day, we're gonna get our point. I want to give my disclaimer too. I did not watch him a whole bunch, but I am familiar with him because I also do relationship coaching. And it's weird. Literally, three of the gentlemen who I coach, they would all, and when they talk about what they can or cannot find women, they would always bring up Kevin Samuels. So it always caused me to go look and check into him because he's not nobody that I would necessarily take advice by, but I needed as a part of my research is figure out what the mindset is of the people that I work with. And interestingly enough, a lot of their takes about women, and we can get into deeper about the different things that he talked about, was that there are no good women. Most women want the same. This is their thought, not this is what Kevin said, but this is what they interpreted. That most women they out for the certain thing. They out just to get money. They out just to get something from you. They want to bring nothing for you. And as a result of that, that's what they seem to attract, or that's what they seem to seem that's out there. And for me, quite honestly, I had to figure out how to talk them off that bridge about that's not the reality of all women.
Right. Well, just to piggyback off something you said, man, I think that's like I think that's a way his career ended up going. If you really, what I'm saying, look at some of his stuff, man. Like I say, he didn't show no favoritism to women or men. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
he got so much rebuttal and so much resistance from the women wanting to hear. Like if you listen to a lot of the guys, they call in, they take it on the chin, but a lot of the women, they didn't want to hear, to me, my opinion.
Sure, yeah.
I feel like they didn't want to hear the hard truths. You know what I'm saying? So his baseline and his business and his, what he was feeding to the social media became more about the women, because that's where he got most of his resistance from.
Right.
But I don't feel like he was, what I'm saying? I feel like if you called in, you want the honest truth, and you tell him everything you was going through, you know what I'm saying? He asked you, how much you weigh? You know what I'm saying? How much you make? You know what I'm saying? He'll go in on the guy just like he'll go in on a woman. But because he got so much resistance from the women, I think he got a lot of attention because the women, you know what I'm saying, couldn't handle taking the truth as much as the men did. That's just my personal opinion. And that's where I feel like it became so much about him seeming and being like a woman hater, or a guy that's just too hard on women, and felt like, people thinking that he didn't like women, or so on and so forth, because like I say, if you research him, he gonna tell you what it is, whether you got lady or female.
I think it's several different layers to take from it. I think everybody, again, his title was a relationship coach, and he found his fame on social media. I think everybody, when you look at the concept of coaching, one is my desire to have everybody get a coach. That's like my new mission here, because I see the value, and we all got potential into becoming the best version of ourselves. And the best people in the world, they carry coaches, from Michael Jordan to Tiger Woods or whatever. But let's get to that in another topic. But for those who were looking for relationship coaches in particular, I think there are different type of coaches that cause you to respond correctly to jump into a better version of yourself. And some people like hard truths. So if we take whether we like what he said or not, some people like to be told what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? And so if you take it aside from whether you agree with him, so somebody to give you that hardcore truth, not be BSing around and trying to tiptoe around the hard facts, then you need somebody who would come in and kind of tell you what you are, so you can get over your own BS. Because at the end of the day, we can't lie to ourselves. So one thing that I would give him credit for is being bold enough to tell the people what they need. Now, the women, they knew his show. They still would call in somebody else who's more subtle, you know what I'm saying, and don't take that type of chastisement or instruction. They'd be like, oh, he's a bad guy. And this is to your point. Maybe that ain't the case. He was probably the one who snapped the whip for the people who actually called in if he broke through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Piggyback around to people that just made a joined in. We talking Kevin Samuels. Was he good for the culture? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people feel like he was too hard. He was a woman basher. He didn't like women, so on and so forth. You heard a lot of stuff. He must be gay, this, that, and the third. We talking Kevin Samuels. Drop your comments. What do you feel about him? Was he good for the culture? I think just looking at how big he was able to become just being a relationship coach, quote unquote, he called himself. I think he was good for the culture, because if this wasn't something that was needed or something that people seeing valid, I don't even think he would have got the notoriety that he had gotten. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, my personal opinion, I say, yeah, he was good for the culture. You know what I'm saying? May he rest in peace. I wish, all his family, sympathy and sorrow during these times. And I think, we need more men like that. And I think that if you want to hear some hard truths, somebody like him is somebody we all need in our life. I think that, because, one thing about me and you, man, when you got something you need to talk about and you want an honest opinion on it, you can call on me. I'm gonna cut it straight, you know what I'm saying, to the chase, no buffer. And I know you do the same for me, no matter how I may receive it. You know what I'm saying? I know we're gonna give each other the hardcore truth. It ain't gonna be us just piggybacking off what we want to hear, what we think, you know what I'm saying, is best to tickle our ears. So I think I think people like this are more needed than not needed.
Yeah, I think 100% truth. I think we all need somebody in our lives that we give the clearance to give us the honest truth. And so with that respect, I think, if that's going to cause you to respond, again, let's not lose topic, respond how you should to make the changes in your life, then by all means, he was an add to the culture. I think the controversy comes in, and you just got to know the type of people that you want to talk to you is how he would point out the flaws. And so a lot of it's a lot of his his response was would down to you average at best and you gonna die alone. Like
Right.
that was his
Right.
that was his thing to the women. Like, I want to get this man that's gonna do A, B, C, and D. And some of these women, they'll be calling like in Lululand, like, girl, you fantasizing. How is it that you think you can attract $1 million maker who's sustainable, who's whole, who's got his vision in place, but you won't even come to the table, but to take something from him? What kind of value do you add? Now, there's a certain person, because of how we've been raised in America, whatever it is, that a lot of women are looking for somebody to make them happy or to do everything for them. And we don't bring nothing to the table. So you might need to be checked if that's you. Can just provoke you to say, maybe I need to get my stuff together so that I can attract that type of person to me. But you're only going to attract the type of value that you give. And if you're only looking to attract value but don't have any substance, direction, or anything, then you're only lusting a man. That means you're trying to take something from him. And for that reason, in Shark Tank, I'm all in with Kevin Samuels. Now, how he cut into him, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is.
And you more on, just to be frank and real about this, you more on the more reserved side. I'm more on the Kevin Samuels. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is. You want to? Hey, listen, bro. The crazy thing about it is, listen, we all, men and women, then been in situations where either we've been givers, you know what I'm saying, in relationships, and that go to the point where it makes you look at things different moving forward in your life. We all, you know what I'm saying? Come on, we done grew through life. You know what I'm saying? Everybody done been in a situation. Women done been with men that they feel like, you know what I'm saying, use them if it's for, it's, they say to themselves, he don't love me the way I love him. It's funny. You hear a lot of women say, it's funny, the more you show a man love, the more they step on your heart. You know what I'm saying? Then you got men like, oh, man, I done did this down the third in my past for women and this down the earth, and I ain't doing that no more because they you. So trial and tribulation and experience throughout life will cause you to go through your life and make chances on how you changes on how you view things, how you want, what you're willing to accept, what you won't willing to accept, because that's life. You know what I'm saying? Experience is the best teacher. For you to know, hey, I know this because I didn't experience before. I see this coming from a mile away. So with that being said, you can't walk in a situation and feel like you ain't got too much of nothing going on and the world gonna be laid out for you. I mean, that's not realistic thinking,
Right.
So,
right. I think, right. So I want to jump in. A couple of people responding on here. We had DeAndre saying, I think to say that he's good. This is to you, Cal. He's good for the culture is a strong word. He may be good for some, but not for others. You know what I'm saying? But let him rep the culture is maybe not ideal, and some more concepts on that. What would you say in response to that?
I would say I appreciate that's my cousin. I appreciate that. We all got an opinion. I'm not opposed to nobody's opinion. That's why we're talking today. We asking for people to drop their opinion. So I feel that, you know what I'm saying, cuz. So, that's good. And I agree with that. That's my opinion. Like, I feel like he was good for the culture. Cuz say he ain't good for the culture. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because he come a little too harsh.
Right.
But for people that need that harsh word, like we were just saying, he good for the culture.
Right. I think let me stop here. So when I say, I don't necessarily think he's bad for the culture or good. I think he's good for the person that can receive that type of instruction. Like you say, we all have a level of influence. So Cal, like the way you can be upfront and cutthroat and get straight to the point around somebody BS, there are a lot of people who need your voice. So I think what we do is we put culture, we make us all inclusive. Well, there are subcultures inside the Black community, and there are some people who will receive that type of instruction way better than somebody who may be a little more soft or sensitive. So that's what I'm saying. So I think it's good for somebody like him. If you try to look at the essence of what he was trying to do, it wasn't necessarily to tear anybody down, but to trigger a certain person to respond a certain way based upon their, fantasy. That's the word, or fantasy-like delusions. You know what I'm saying, about what they think and expect from a man.
Well, any man that's in my circle, they call me aunt, consider me a friend, a brother. I'm gonna be a little harder on them than I'm gonna be on a woman. I'm soft on a woman, and that came with time because I used to be hard on women too. You know what I'm saying? But I learned that, it's okay, to be a little softer with people. But I'm not gonna have no man around me saying he want to be held accountable for his actions and he want to be better, and we supposed to be holding each other accountable. Then you don't want to hear me shoot straight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same with some lady friends. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got lady friends that'll call me and say, hey Cal, you ain't gonna believe this guy did this. And then I hear them out, and you know what I'm saying? I listen to it, and I say, okay, now you ready? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, yeah. And then I tell them where they going wrong at, or where they, you know what I'm saying, where they seeing this, where they misunderstand what they seeing, or where they a little off at, or how their expectations are a little too high. I do that for people I love, or people that want to hear from me, that value my opinion, feel like I'm going to tell them the truth. But I think everybody needs this, you know what I'm saying? Because people will go through life, you know what I'm saying, holding their shit in their hand and keep failing at life and keep blaming everybody else.
100%.
And they hear somebody tell them, hey, you
100%.
need to do this, this, and this, man, you tripping.
Yeah.
Then I think people, a bell go off, ding, to where they're like, dang, I did bump my head over here 5 times and I am still getting the same dumbass results. So maybe he right. Maybe I need to look at this different. I do it every day, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look at different things I can change in my life every day to be better for everybody I encounter. You know what I'm saying? Because if you stop growing and you stop looking at things you can change for the better, it don't make you soft. It just means you maturing and getting wiser and better.
Right.
You know I watched something my man say, it's the journey, it ain't the destination. I shared it on Facebook. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, the journey along the way and the things you're going to learn that's going to perfect you and make you better is better than just getting the result you think you want so fast.
Yeah. That's great. I think the journey is a destination, and we get that confused. There is no destination if there's no route. And I think once we separate and we wait for, we set aside all life, which is the process till we get there. And we know whenever we get anything in our hand, we don't enjoy it more than 3 weeks. So we got to enjoy the journey and the process.
Right.
So having said that, I think this is good. We're 100% on the same thing. I think that all of us need coaches to help us get the best version of ourselves out of us, whether relationship, whether it be financial coach, whether it be life issues, mindset coaches. But I do want to say that we have to be in a position that we understand what is our trigger so we can get the best out of ourselves. So certain coaches present different things. So you can get coach or betterment out of yourself by camaraderie, somebody that's going to partner with you, community. Sorry about this, guys. It's going to come on in a minute. Or you can get community from a group of people to coach yourself up. You can get calamity. Something got to go wrong for you to finally change yourself. I like this one. We're going to pull it. I'm giving one C to Kevin Samuel. Criticism. Here's a straight criticism. He'll cutthroat you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can get criticized and to be jolted into what you need to be because somebody calling you out on your mess, right? You know what I'm saying? And so you have to find, I think the biggest thing in this is that if we liked his language was more so to say, hey, he was somebody that provided coaching for somebody in relationships that was having some unrealistic expectations. And I did read a comment on somebody said it's because of Kevin Samuels that I was able to find my wife and we still are together. Now, a lot of us haven't gone through the detail of some of the people that he actually touched. And so you got to always remember that everybody doesn't have the voice for you. So you find a person that has the voice for you as opposed to criticizing somebody else and how they want to get the best out of another person. And I want to get another comment. I'm gonna let you jump in, bro. BSP over here on a YouTube channel brought up another topic. He say, love him or hate him, but it takes a true low-life individual to rejoice in his death. And I think that's what a lot of people went wrong with. You don't like the way my man criticized certain people who called in themselves, knowing who, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like his response, we definitely shouldn't celebrate anybody dying if that's their way that they added value.
Man, I'm going to tell you, like them or hate them, one thing we all can agree on is if you're going through life and you're struggling in the area that you steadily battling with throughout your life and you ain't getting the change that you want in it, then at some point you got to step back and look at where you're going wrong at it, whether it's relationships, whether it's managing your money. I don't care what it is. If you're going through life, and that's one thing he would attack, things that you got women calling in saying they can't keep a good man. Whatever it is, we're going to say, forget Kevin Samuels for a minute. Whatever you going through in life, don't nobody want to feel like they steady jumping the same hurdle when they tripping over it and falling. I mean, that's just ludicrous. You steady trying to jump over this thing. You either need to lose some weight or you need to do some training. Don't nobody want to keep jumping over something and falling. You know what I'm saying? And keep hurting themselves. So what I'm saying is, what I liked about the man is he would make you look at your hard truths, because people caught in with hard truths. You're a woman. You're a man. You can't keep a good relationship together. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me dissect what's going on in your life to understand why it is that you can't find this. And then when I find out, when I ask you all these questions, you tell me the answers, I'm gonna cut you up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing we need to do with ourselves. We really don't need no Kevin Samuels. I'm just telling you, at some point in your life, you can't keep looking at things and different things in your life and areas where you falling short at, and you keep finding a blame game or some bogus excuse, whether it's a diet, whether it's your finances, whether it's goals you trying to set, whether it's places you trying to be, whether it's 5 years ago you looked at and where you wanted to be at today and you ain't got there. You got to hold yourself accountable. And if you can't do it, you need to get somebody in your life that will and tell you straight. Because at the end of the day, all we trying to do is grow and see progress and get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's where the root to a lot of hate come from in people's lives. They watch themselves keep failing at stuff, and then they see somebody else over here winning, and they think they making it so easy, but they don't want to do the sacrifices and go through the things in the fire. They don't want to go through the fire and let the burn. They don't want to go through the things it take to get there, but they want to sit back and build this jealousy up because they feel like everything's supposed to be handed over to them.
Yeah, 100%. Now watch this. I love it, bro. Clap. That was wonderful. I think a lot of people are in this position. So here we talk about different types of coaching. So I'm gonna go to the other side. You cutthroat. You let them notice what it is. A lot of us, we in our BS and we keep running to these things and we need to get over it. So I'm gonna say, so now what's your next step? So if you know that you need to get somebody that's in your corner that can hold you accountable, if you don't have self-accountability, you need somebody else that's going to have, you got to present some form of progress on some type of consistent basis, somebody that you give influence to, whether you pay them, whether it be a friend, whether it be whatever, you need to have somebody on your butt to do the things that you need to do. So that's how you respond to this situation. It's not so much about Kevin Samuels only. It's about, hey, we could pull from this that we learned that sometimes we need somebody in our corner to make us better than we are. And you would go into self-sabotage if we all, because we all got these areas, right? So we're not beating up anybody. If we only allow ourselves to be subject to ourselves and we got a history of being distracted and not focused or not follow through, then the way that we change our life is not to talk about somebody else and their progress, but to figure out how do we make ourselves accountable? How do we focus on our things so that we can grow and make things happen?
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Listen, man, that's why, man, listen, when you think back, you hear a lot of old sayings, man, and you hear guys talking about, when I used to be in the plant, man, working at General Motors, man, I used to hear the old cats in skilled trades, and they say, man, I got to check with the wife. I got to this, got to the wife, this, that, and the other. And you be like, man, what type of sucker is you? What you mean you got to check with the wife? And then you get older and you understand that this is an accountability partner.
Man,
you know, been out here handling business, making all this good money, and ain't been able to get themselves structured to the point where they've been working 5, 10, 15 years and ain't even got a house. Then they find a good woman, man. Get things in proper perspective where they can go get the money. She can get things in order. She can get the house together. She can make sure they have a home. He can get the car he always been looking for. He can tinker around in the garage. He got a good meal at home. And then you understand that, hey, you can't judge this man on feeling like he not a man. Sometimes you got to be happy that a person can find an accountability partner where you can't judge a man because you say, hey, without this man being able to be in a position where he can find a good woman to put him in a position to where, like the Bible say, you know, when a man finds a wife, you know what I'm saying, he finds favor with the Lord, and he obtain favor, and he leave his home, you know what I'm saying, he leave his mom, and so on and so forth, then that's what he doing, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I used to look at that like guys with suckers and stuff, like, man, dang, what do you mean? He got to check with the wife and this and that. And as I got older and started understanding life and people, and that, you know, all of us don't have the structure, and all of us don't have the mobility to just get up and snap out of something and say, hey, let me take control of this. And it's okay. That's all right. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's okay not to judge somebody. And when a person gets that and they need that, then that's a blessing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we 100%. Just got to understand. We got to understand and let people know that if you're looking at yourself, no matter what it is, woman, man, and you can't get some things together that you need to get together, it's okay to take 2 steps back and say to myself, hey, listen, I need some help in this area. I got to get somebody that love me enough to tell me where I'm going wrong at. And I got to humble myself enough to say, you know what? I'm going to hear this once and for all, because I've been running my face into a brick wall and I'm sick of it. Because the worst thing because all it's going to do is turn you into a failure. You keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same dumbass results. You're going to just say, forget it. I ain't doing this no more. I give up.
That's right.
I give up. Right. That's the thing. So at some point, you just got to say, you know what I'm saying? That's why people have workout partners. They got people that they go on diets with, you know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth, you know? They got business partners they invest with, because where you may be weak at, I may be strong. You might be better at handling the finances and getting the material. I may be better at managing the workforce and the crew and making sure the work get done. But at the end of the day, wherever you find yourself weak at, you got to partner up with somebody.
Bro, you teach it, Doc.
To push you where you can get to that next level.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. That's right. Whether if it's your pastor, if it's a coach, if it's a partner, if it's your best friend, if it's whatever it is, accountability is the term that you're preaching, man. And we have to be honest with ourselves. We've been doing this 20, 30 years trying to do it by ourselves. If you're not a person that can execute by yourself, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to identify that you need synergy, meaning you need to connect with somebody else and get energy from their voice. Like the reason why some of us are here now, the reason why me and Cal even came up with this is because when we talk to each other, the energy from my voice sparked something to him, and energy from his voice sparked something to me, and we would get more focused on the thing that we were trying to create. And so if we could just give this to somebody else that gets some fire under us, it's not about who's right, who's wrong, who could do something better, who I didn't like the way they sound. That's all self-sabotage. It's not about evaluating somebody else the way they get bread. This is about how do I take from people and respond in my own life. You know what I'm saying? How can I be willing to respond to fix myself, right? And that's what we need to do. That's the message I think we're trying to get across. Who is it that knows that they keep running into a wall and you need to connect with somebody for personal accountability, period. You could become the best version of yourself as time is ticking, period.
That's it, man. And man, that's so deep right there, man. We could call it a wrap on that. Willingly responding, good, because guess what? That's where hate coming from, bro.
100%.
But not really wanting to look at their own issues, deal with themselves. They unhappy, so they looking at something that you got going on to distract them, to make them feel like, you know what I'm saying, they focused on some BS that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? And if we all just key in on what it is we need to do for us to be better people, to make ourselves happier with ourselves, it's no way you could look at somebody else and not be proud and happy of their progress and want to see them win. Period. You know what I'm saying? 100%. That, you know what I'm saying? When I see a person being a hater, I just know that they're in an ugly place in their life. I just
bro. So obvious.
I say a prayer.
Let me just say that for anybody, if you find yourself, and this is not a knock, it's just a reality check. If you find yourself focused when we go through social media and you look out and people watching, finding time to focus on their flaw or their weakness and make it necessary that you have to communicate about their fault or their weakness, it is inevitable that it is a personal issue. There's something that you do not like about yourself for you to take time and spend energy on somebody else's weakness, period. You may not know it, but that's what it is, because when you focus on creating and solving problems and building things, you don't have the effort to tear down anybody else, because there's so much that we got to build. And it's not like that I haven't talked about nobody. And it's a point of reference for my transparency, for me to see into me, right? Get your mind off them, right? Focus on your stuff. Who cares if you could do it better? Focus on your stuff, right? You get out there and you talk to people about their relationship. You don't like the way he do it. You be the other part of this culture that builds each other. Some people take it that way. You find a way to build it your way.
That's good, man.
Period.
God's so good, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody watching, man. Keep us in your prayers. Keep us uplifted. We're going to keep doing our work. Y'all keep doing y'all's, and we're going to all make this thing better out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Smiles, love, appreciation, dedication, and helping each other out.
Yes, sir. Love you guys. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. Love you,
Cal
bro.
and Dave Jones are the host of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Raps.